Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pillars of Eternity 2. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as we leave Sayuka by sea. 3 minutes to go, and go and deal with the terrible things off to the southeast. There's some sort of coral or whatever it's, I'm not really sure. Why are we getting this loading screen? Oh, everything is good. We also have Malnaj over here. I think we must... Malnaj. Skipping ahead. Really? Oh, I need to press enter. Oh, that's kind of important, isn't it? Yeah, Malnaj is a part of a Principe. Huh. Let's go there. See what this is all about. You have barely cleared Sayuka Harbor when a sleek half-galley appears off to your port bow. It rides high in the water and fast, but keeps its distance as it approaches land. When the ship turns to pursue you, you recognize it as Malnaj's vessel, the Misery's Delight. Its cannons don't seem primed, and it aims to come alongside rather than set up for a broadside run. As the Misery's Delight comes alongside, Malnaj stands on the railing, one gray-furred hand wrapped tight about a thick hemp line. She bows low, doffing her hat, and then tosses it to one of her deckhands. I hope I'll have, Seraphin with me, because I won't, but he might be, because this is sort of, you know, our boat. I mean, he's around. I'm not really sure what to expect.
Funny seeing you here, Captain. Especially since we've tracked Romaro to this very rock. Ain't trying to steal the bounty, are you?
Yeah. What was it I said before? Kindly fuck off. Oh, yeah, I remember. Excuse me. I remember her. Yeah.
Hey, the deer wooden motto. Used to have that on the coat of arms long time back.
With a quiet snort, she shakes her head.
Funny. I'd have thought a watcher would have had better instincts than siding with a known traitor.
She shakes her head with an approximation of sadness, but doesn't bother hiding her grin.
Fuck it. We'll deal with you first, then go have a little chatsy with Romaro. No quarter, lads and lasses.
Weapons slide free of holsters and sheaths as Malnaj's crew attacks. Oh, they're going down all so very fast because we are so very powerful. Let's murder them. Aware concentration, that's all good. Okay, let's go there. Let's get some thunder in here. Let's go ahead and do this. Not ideal. Let's get you a little bit closer. Sounds good to me. Let's do that. Secondly, let's get you to join me. Let's do that one. That's probably gonna be good.
Not happening.
Maybe. Okay, that's kind of bad. Okay, you need to really be stopped right now. We also have, yeah, Seraphin is up there. Seraphin can, should be okay. Let's see, you. Oh no, you. You also have that. That's kind of good. Go ahead and attack that one. Man, this guy just has all the health. That's not good at all. You actually have an ability that I like, which would be, that's Bless Harvest. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring you over here so we can do this.
It makes no difference.
It does make a difference. Okay. Oh, that's going very well. Unless that's somebody. No, that's a Facina. Oof. That's, yep, that's a kill. And I think we're done. Poor suckers, they don't really stand a chance. That's the, yeah, whatever. Let's take that, and, oh, there's more. Nothing, I mean, it's not unique, so I'm not really gonna look at it. It's good to sell, and it's good to have, I suppose. I'm not selling the really, really good stuff as it is. So, let's take all of that. Seraphin.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
So I glimpsed your thoughts when Romaro told us about the sorcerer and its slaves.
I espy a lurking question, Cap.
Huh. Want to tell me about it? His frame, small frame, expands as he inhales deeply, then deflates with a long sigh through his nostrils.
I were born into slavery, Cap. I never knew no father save Romaro and don't much remember my mother. I do remember the day they tore me from her arms. Her screams. Kind of thing that leaves a mark. It'd have been one thing if I was purchased for labor. To lift or farm or fix or what do you have. But they bought me to fight. Threw me in a fucking pit. Set me against other slaves.
There's a special place in hell for souls like that. No, really, they get shredded. Cut right from the cycle.
Disgust. I have always found slave fighting repulsive.
I'm glad Palagino's over here and having a chat. Apparently, we do indeed have chats with everybody that's on the map. I'm so sorry, Seraphin.
Ain't your sin to carry, Cap.
Well, it's not what that sorry means. It's the same word, but it's like, I'm sorry you lost your cat, or something like that. Not, obviously not the same, to the same level. Losing a cat is a lot less than being grown as a, what are they, it's like, oh man, come on, the gladiators. Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. It's being basically raised as a gladiator.
They transported me twixt one pit and the next by ship. And they would set me swabbing decks.
He massages one palm with a furrowed thumb.
One eve, the sorcerer fell upon him sneaking up in the sunset. When blades were drawn, I availed myself of one. Found myself a little justice. Romaro brought me aboard the sorcerer. The rest of the story's old.
Well, okay. Yeah, that does explain...
Ahoy, Captain!
Hey! Ahoy yourself, Seraphin!
Truth be told, I've not felt so cozy in a crew since my tour on the sorcerer. With Romaro and the lot. Good times and a half, that.
I was just talking to you about that. Yeah, you're a valuable member of my crew.
By way of expressing my gratitude, I've a tribute to be presenting. It's meant to be worn by a great captain. I think you rightly qualify. And I think you'll look right spiff in it, too.
Right, spiff. Well, that's... Thank you for the gift.
Pleasure be entirely mine, Cap. May it serve you at least half as well as I.
He bows deeply, then salutes you and turns away. He gave me fair favor. It's a hat, and I'll look at it right now. Let's sort this by... I just click over here, right? That's... yeah, okay, good. So this thing is a unique hat, swashbuckling, 10% crit, hit... well, basically 10% crit chance. No, actually, wait. 10% hit, 2 crit chance. What the heck is hit to crit chance? And 10% crit damage. Oh, right, it's just transform... okay, so, right, the chance... you transform hits into crits. That's what it is, because if you roll a graze, you're not going to crit. And a 10% critical damage with daggers, rapiers, sabers, stilettos, and swords. So it is kind of nice. Unfortunately, nobody uses that, but, you know, it's the... well, actually, for swords, Duskfall over here. Does he? Yeah, he does use a sword, doesn't he? That's his, Is that his abilities here? Weapon proficiencies. So we got shield, mace, saber, sword. Yeah, he does. He fights with that, I suppose. And he doesn't have a hat. What the heck is wrong with me? Why? Why would I not? There it is. Why? What? I mean, sure, I don't understand what why I do these things. What is walking cloak? That adds diplomacy and survival, 15% stride, also increases survival skill and reflex. Is just great. I can give it to you. Although we don't have that many cloaks and yeah, or hats for that matter. Well, I guess that explains. We don't get that many items. You mean to push an extra constitution? Yeah, we just don't get that many items. And, it's a waste, yeah. That's better than that one. Cloak of Protection, Fortitude, Reflex. Oh, that's kind of good for you. And, that's that. It's gauntlets, but I think everybody's got gauntlets. Those are very common. Yeah, I think we're meant to...
folks said I'd never amount to anything.
I think that happened... what? Did he... what? When did he say that? A dare? No, I don't know. Anyway, we're good. and then we just leave by pressing that. Let's just have a chat with everybody over
Greetings
here.
again, Captain.
Hello, Eden.
Do you require my expertise?
I wanted to ask you about your work as an animancer.
My studies? I cannot promise a dissertation, but I'll happily discourse upon the broader strokes.
I thought we had talked to her already. What is your specific area of study?
You haven't read my work, then? As an apprentice, I focused on, and then helped discredit, the phrenological approach. At the time, it seemed more difficult than I thought it should be.
Why is that?
Some of my colleagues had a vested interest in a model of the world that included an inherent hierarchy of kith.
I know the word phrenology. Is it? I was looking for the word. Yeah, phrenological. Phrenology, if I'm not mistaken, is has to do with. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken, but it has to do with the measuring of bones and specifically skull structure to categorize and predict using well, pseudoscientific methods, of course, because it is a pseudoscience, but still using using the skull to predict values like IQ or personality traits. I guess IQ is itself a prediction rather than definite value, but still like things like social standards or capabilities. And it's also largely rooted in racist practices of discrimination. And so that probably relates to why hierarchy of kith here being important. I don't know why I didn't think of it when she said phrenological. I was like, I don't know what that is, but then yeah, I do know what that is. I think I know what that is. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
That some kith made more worthy receptacles for souls than others, based on the shape of their brow or the length of their ears, was apparently an idea too tantalizing to abandon.
So the basic premise of phrenology, at least as far as I understand it, and historically this would be at the beginning of the 19th century, maybe with roots before that, and throughout probably the first third of the 19th. Sorry, did I say 19th century? I meant the 20th century. And throughout the first third of the 20th century, probably first half. So the idea basically is that you would measure these values, the shape of their brow and the length of the ears and all that sort of stuff, or measure, people's brows and ears, and then correlate that with, and the word correlation here is very important, correlate that with the parameters that you are looking for. So if you're trying to predict how good somebody is for at playing music, for example, that's an easy one. You measure everybody's brow and you look at how they play music, and it's going to be a little bit arbitrary, I guess, or not arbitrary, but rather subjective how well you like it, but still you can have a sort of a vague measure, and that's the method of phrenology. Of course, the pseudoscientific, or what makes it pseudoscientific, and also why I used the word, and specifically the word correlation, is, and you might have heard of this, correlation is not causation. So that's two different things. Correlation is basically when something happens in relation to something else. Like, for example, when you get wet. And also, you get wet more often when you walk in the rain. Now, that's correlation, and that is also causation. But not the other way around. You don't walk in the rain because you get wet. So the causation works only one way, it doesn't work the other way. And sometimes it can work with completely unrelated things, like, for example, the being in bed and dying. The most, for example, the most common place of the most dangerous place, you could say that the most dangerous place is bed, because that's where the vast majority of people die. And of course, there's a correlation there. It's absolutely a correlation, but there's no causation. You don't die because you're in bed. You die because the circumstances that lead you to your death will, before killing you, more often than not, lead you to bed, because you're going to be sick, or you're going to be old, or whatever. Of course you can understand what I'm trying to say. So that's the distinction here, just very summed up, between causation and correlation. That's what makes it pseudoscientific. In this case, I assume I assume that it's going to be the same exact thing. It is also interesting because the first Pillars of Eternity didn't have such direct commentary on the scientific methods, or rather the methods, because they are not scientific, of course, they're pseudo-scientific, but at least the methods of the Animancers. And of course, she is an Animancer. Idwin is. Interesting. Let's see.
Afterwards, my interest turned to the theoretical, before shifting a few decades later to the study of parapsychological inertia.
She said parapsychological inertia, but I'm going to say psychological inertia, as in people thinking the same thing over and over?
Close.
She nods appraisingly.
Parapsychological inertia. The tendency for some souls to gravitate towards familiar locales or engage in behaviors exhibited from past lives. From there, I moved on to work in metamortality, the scientific study of souls over lifetimes and the cycle of reincarnation, which brings us to the present.
I don't remember if she was working with the other Animancers when she came with us. It's a very interesting field of study here. Excuse me. Do excuse me. I didn't mean to cough right at the microphone, so I'm sorry about that. I can't comment on that, but what would it be? I think in the world of Pillars of Eternity, there is this sort of soul memory, and of course you get I think you were awoken if you remember the past lives of your soul. But you're still the same. You're still technically the same person. I don't know if I don't know of any real-life counterparts or parallels to the way the souls are treated in Pillars of Eternity. So I'm not aware of how the mainstream understanding of reincarnation for the people that believe in reincarnation, how it works. So it might be very similar to just, what's commonly known as reincarnation. But yeah, people are... That confused me tremendously in the first game for a long while, because the game doesn't state it, and I'm not a big fan of that, but eventually I realized what exactly the game meant by the souls and how people were and all that. Because I thought for a long while that, just because I have the soul of this other person that came before me doesn't mean I'm that person. In this game, it does mean you're that person. You're still the same person, especially if you're awoken, because then you have the memories, and that's a big part of your personality. There's a lot of things to be discussed, but obviously her field of work is not in that. What do you hope to do with what you learn?
You set the sled before the dogs. Before making decisions regarding what should be done, we must first understand what is. Anything else is a dream in the dark.
That's very interesting. So what do you... Yeah. So what do you hope to learn from your studies? Yeah, that's a better phrasing.
The truth, of course.
Huh. We have ourselves a... Oh, man. I'm so sorry. In the... I don't remember the name. I think in the 18th century, there was a very, very prominent field of science that that pushed science as the end for all things, or rather the search for truth. So she sounds like that. Science, of course, can't explain. Well, it's a complicated thing, but science doesn't explain what we observe. It mostly predicts how things work in specific circumstances, but, say it doesn't explain, like, for example, why that boat is going up or down right now, because that's not a replicable... it's very complicated to me to say this because there's so many caveats. But basically, that event... going up and down right now cannot be replicated because it's past. It's already past. So you can't explain completely. You can never prove that it didn't go up because the wind was just too fast, because you don't have access to that. So what science does is to predict, is to establish models where you just go, okay, the boat goes up and down because of all these things and all that sort of stuff, and we can generally attest that it's probably because of that. But we can't have access to the truth directly, and that's an inherent advantage, or rather could be considered disadvantage, but still, it's why science works, is because you're creating models rather than trying to come to the truth, and that's why she sounds so much like the 18th century hopefuls that science would. Oh man, there's so many things written about that. I never studied that too much, and I don't even know their name. There's like this. It's not humanists. It might be humanists. I'm not really sure. Anyway.
I'm sorry that I have no simple answer for you.
Oh, yeah, I gave you a complex answer just on that. Oh, I ramble. Oh,
Embarking on inquiry with an agenda. That is how mistakes get made.
Oh, yeah, of course. I figured she wasn't gonna go on about the true nature of what it means to be. But yeah, what she's saying is she doesn't have a set goal, which isn't a way of doing investigation. Yeah. So you're entirely without bias. Also, that's not what she's saying, but let's see if she's gonna say that's not the case.
Not at all.
Ah!
But I admit them.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I misunderstood what she meant by not at all. Yes. Yeah, just not having an objective doesn't mean you don't have a bias. Or rather, in this case, agenda. Objective agenda is the same thing. It doesn't mean you don't have a bias. Biases can exist, just from anything. She's very confident that she admits them. We all have biases, and a lot of them are not known to us. More people have more. Some people have a lot of biases. Other people have fewer biases, but we all do. And just that's just what it means to be biased. It's just to be leaning on one side rather than another. Tends, it's just how it goes for anything. And sometimes biases are good. Sometimes they're not. And sometimes they allow you to achieve objectives, and sometimes they don't. Depends on what you're studying or doing. An idea how Elthas is moving that statue across the sea? She laughs, a flat palm covering her open mouth.
I could theorize, but given how little I've observed of him, it would be irresponsible of me to do so. It must require incredible energy, though. Staggering amounts of soul essence. And can Audra truly be so flexible? Why does he not crumble?
She shakes her head and shrugs.
Whatever he is, however he accomplishes it, perhaps we can discover together. If the discovering doesn't kill us.
If it doesn't kill us. Well, if it does, we reload. What's so important about Luminous Adra? Oh, this is so important.
That depends on who you ask.
Whom you ask?
Generally, Audra conducts soul energy. Luminous Audra also stores it, however.
Yeah, that's my perception. I don't think the game denies that. What I think the game, or this second game, is doing is that soul energy is not really people. It's just, it's not people. So that's the difference. That's the distinction between what I had perceived it to be and what it is taken or treated as in this game.
Is it simply a worse conductor getting clogged by essence? Or is this indicative of a specialized function? Unfortunately, greed stymies inquiry. Rawatai and the Republics grind every ounce they find down into bath salts.
Wait a minute, Rawatai does that as well? Oh, frick me. Crap. My god. What are we going to be able to do about that? Okay, that's enough for now.
Of course, Captain.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. I love Ashley's voice. It's fantastic. I love it. Hey, Constantine. I don't think he talks.
What are we standing around for?
Facina, I also don't think she talks.
What is it, Casita?
She does. Wasn't she? No, yeah, she's with us since the beginning. I'm just going around, having a chat with Aleth over here. Of course, Matthew. Hi, the voice actor. Yeah, that's all. I think we did everything.
Is there something you wanted to talk about? You only have to ask.
Thank you. Let's leave. So, as I said at the beginning of the episode, my alignment, I need to make a banner out of that. My alignment is Chaotic Ramble, and yeah, you know it. And that's why I need to make a banner out of it. So that's the Principe banner. Is that the Principe banner? 2 cannons and a fish. No, that is Rawatai. Actually, it says, doesn't it? Royal Deadfire Company, absolutely. And yeah, so let's go to Signath Moor. And I actually don't remember if it's Signath or Kignath. Let's find out. Well, maybe not. You arrive at the location off the coast of Sayuka that the Coral Mason told you about. You peer over the edge of your ship and see a faint glow in the waters far, far below. I have a diving suit, a dining suit as well, and swim down. You clamber into your diving suit and leap from your boat, hitting the water with a tremendous splash. You swim towards the light, breathing fresh air thanks to Ivera's invention. Well, yes. As you fall through... Actually, the fact that this was in the first game, it's not... And also that we used it before to save ourselves in the first game. Yeah, it's not really Ivera's invention. As you fall through the depths, the water grows dark, but the glow below you ever brighter. Oh, it brightens. Okay, schools of gigantic fish twist and swirl around you, paying you no heed. Soon enough, you can make out the vague shape of a structure resting on the seafloor. Rising from the ruins of Signath Moor is a tall spire and what appears to be a small landing platform. When you finally reach the spire, you find that a shimmering barrier surrounds the ruins. You pass your hand through the barrier and feel nothing but a tingle like static electricity across your skin. Well, we're just gonna push on. You walk through the barrier and discover the interior of the ruins aren't flooded, as you might have expected, but dry. You remove your helmet, take a deep breath of fresh air. I wouldn't call it fresh air since it's at the bottom of the ocean, but apparently it is, and walk into the ruins of Signath Moor. If you ever find yourself in a cave, you know, like you swam up into a cave.
Drowning, but I gotta admit, breathing underwater makes my head hurt.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, not obviously in a temple that looks glorious like this one, I mean just in a natural cave or something, don't assume that the air in there is breathable. And, yeah. Also, make sure you have training and proper safety precautions if you're doing deep sea diving. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, have tremendous accidents because of that. And on that public service announcement from somebody who doesn't even know how to swim, let alone deep sea dive, it's time to end the episode. I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pillars of Eternity 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.